Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to Smark Guys, our ongoing pro wrestling commentary show. I'm Darkside Phil, and with me as always is John Rambo. Who's that?
It's between me and them, Phil, don't worry.
Today is Saturday, July 20th, 2013. Boy, how time
flirting
flies.
a little bit.
How time flies,
Yeah.
John. I mean, pretty crazy. Just to think that it's already July, and I feel like we just got back from WrestleMania. I mean, holy crap, you know?
That was a long time ago, Phil.
It's 3 months ago. I don't know, time flies, I'm getting older.
It's going quick.
So this is a crazy week for pro wrestling. Lots of stuff going on. Culmination of many different plot lines, leading into new ones heading into the summer. For WWE, this is typically a hot time leading into SummerSlam. For TNA, they've now, with their Destination X event that happened this week on live TV, that was a big thing. A lot of stuff came out of that. So we got a lot to talk about. Maybe a slightly longer show. We'll have to see what happens.
I'm ready for it.
But primarily what we need to start with here, obviously, is the results of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which took place on Sunday. And I did purchase this pay-per-view. Like I said, I really don't buy a lot of pay-per-views anymore, but I decided that WWE earned my dollar this time, and it actually was well worth it. The pay-per-view was top quality, lots of good stuff going on, good return of RVD, 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches that were absolutely outstanding. Everything was good stuff, and I was very pleased with the pay-per-view. I'm glad that I actually paid for it.
So $50 for that?
It was expensive, yeah. It was $44.99, plus they charge you the taxes on top. So, it's a lot of money, but it was actually quite good. So I was pleased.
When you get something good, you don't mind. You don't mind so much.
Alright, so let's get right down to it, because there was so much that happened at the pay-per-view. First of all, we had a pre-show, okay? And the pre-show was...
Did you watch this?
I saw part of it.
Where do you watch this? On YouTube or something?
It was on YouTube. It was actually, if you had bought the pay-per-view, they showed it.
Watch it.
You showed it on the pay-per-view channel.
That makes sense.
Yes. So, alright, everyone's... I'm just making sure that the stream's working, because for whatever reason it kind of locked up there. See that?
Oh, it's not playing.
It's not playing, but
play it?
but it is working. No, it's okay. You can leave it.
It's paused.
Alright. Cool. Alright. Sorry, just wanted to make sure it was working, because we had something crash in the software. I don't even know what that was. It crashed, but it was still working. So I don't even know what the hell that was. Weird. Alright, so the Usos taking on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the Tag Team Championships. This match was actually quite good. But a lot of people, I think, didn't see it because it was on the pre-show. It's like, if you're going to have a good match, fucking put it on the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe if you have good matches, people will start watching the pre-show matches.
I guess that's true, too.
You give them crap, they're not going to bother.
If you have Santino versus The Miz, probably no one's going to watch.
If you know, they put out good matches for this pre, I better check it out.
Right. Okay, so it was a really high-quality match, heavy hitting. At one point, they did this crazy-ass spot in the corner where it was like Roman Reigns was going to powerbomb an Uso, but then Seth Rollins was on the turnbuckle about to do something, but then the other Uso came out of nowhere, and so all 4 of them came down with this crazy tower of humanity. Just boom, everyone's destroyed. And it ends up that the Shield does retain. It was pretty close, too, because it looked like they were going to win, but Roman broke up the pin at the last minute. Roman hits the spear, they win. So it was a really close match. Really good quality, good way to start the pay-per-view, especially it was the pre-show. People get excited, oh, if it's going to be this good, I'm going to buy the pay-per-view.
Sets the precedent for the rest of the show.
Right.
Maybe.
So the pay-per-view actually opened with the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder match. Now this was, as we had said previously, all heels. So we didn't know which way it was going to go. We didn't even know, who's going to win this match. We thought that there was no chance in hell that it was going to be anyone that was on the tag team. So we thought Team Rhodes Scholars, We the People, we thought those guys were out of it. We thought maybe it would be Dean Ambrose.
Well, they also lose every match they're in, so it's also an indication that...
That's true. Right.
They won't win this.
Right. So it was very weird, very odd that what they went with. But it was a really good match. Like crazy spots here and there. During the course of the match, the Shield comes out. And so they're trying to let Dean Ambrose win, but then the Usos actually come out and attack them. So there's all this cluster outside the ring. And I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Dean Ambrose or someone else, but they actually took a spot where they went off the ladder into the crowd, like into them. So there's like 20 dudes outside the ring all destroyed. And Cody Rhodes looking really strong in this match. He hit the crossroads on a bunch of people. Was actually going for the Money in the Bank briefcase at the end of the match. And it turns out Damien Sandow, who had basically been kind of like playing possum, he was laying outside the ring not doing anything for most of the match.
Very intelligent.
Comes out of nowhere, throws him off the ladder. During the course of the match, Cody Rhodes actually had his whole eyebrow, like the edge of it was like busted open. He was gushing blood. So he takes a spill, and then Damien Sandow actually gets the briefcase. So now they're leading into this whole plot line where it's Damien Sandow betrayed Cody Rhodes, and it's like, wait a minute, well, how did he betray him when it was, everyone for yourself, kind of a match?
The beloved tag team, the Rhodes Scholars.
The Rhodes Scholars.
There's no more.
Yes, we have dissension among the Rhodes Scholars.
How will we recover from this loss?
So it's very weird, and comes up with Damien Sandow winning, and he's Mr. Money in the Bank.
I don't even know why they were a
SmackDown.
team in the first place. They just were.
They had nothing to do with them, so they just put them together so they had something to do for a while.
I don't even know why they were a team to begin with.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Alright, so we had... I don't remember the exact order of the matches. They're not correct, listed on the results website, which is odd enough. Why doesn't WWE list them in order?
That's cool for Sandow.
Well, it gives him a push, but the thing is
that
they're going to do
red hot.
with it.
Yeah, he came in red hot, then they put the ice on him, like they do with a lot of guys, but now...
Right.
Give him a shot, see what he can do. He's a talented gentleman.
Well, we'll talk about what happened on Raw later on. Alright, so Ryback has his match with Chris Jericho, and as you know, Jericho must put over everyone. So there's a couple times in the match where Jericho's trying to get the walls, he can't get them, he eventually does get them, but Ryback gets to the ropes. And very similarly to how our simulation match ended, he beats him with the shell shock, and it's like... Okay, oh no, actually, take it back. He kicks out of the shell shock. He does the shell shock, he kicks out, so then he just rolls him up and wins. It was a weird ending to the match, but Ryback ends up winning with a schoolboy or whatever. Very silly. So why that plot line even existed, I have absolutely no idea. But, by the way, it looks like it may be continuing, if you can believe it. And we'll talk about that.
That's all Jericho being
talk about SmackDown.
Putting him over and being like, you out-wrestled Jericho, who's supposed to be a scientific wrestler in a way.
Weird.
You out-wrestled him.
Sure he did.
Elevating Ryback.
Sure he did. So now this is really weird. So they have the Divas Championship match, right? So if you remember on SmackDown, they'd ended SmackDown by having the first Divas contract signing ever for a title match. And at the end of that contract signing, Caitlyn speared AJ. And that was like the end of it. Now, during that, at no point whatsoever did Caitlyn sell some kind of an injury. All of a sudden, she comes out, her arm's fucked up. We're like, what? Like, when did this... Oh, when she speared her on SmackDown, she dislocated her shoulder or elbow or something. Like, what? No, she didn't.
It's possible, right?
But it was so dumb. So, of course, what's the whole match? AJ attacks the arm and ends up winning with her Black Widow submission move because the whole match, Caitlyn's injured and she can't use the arm. It's like... So AJ couldn't get a legit win over Caitlyn, basically. So they made up an angle where she was hurt, and so that's how AJ wins. It was so frustrating. I was like, I wanted to see a match between these two that was legit. Not, no.
That's gonna
I'm crippled.
I'm crippled. It's going to go on forever, though, isn't it? They'll probably do this 100 more times.
I'm sure. Well, I don't know, because right now, as we'll talk about this week, it was more about AJ and Dolph than AJ being the Divas Championship, and we'll talk about that when we get to Raw. But it's so weird that they did that. Like, why can't they just have a match and AJ goes over clean? No, the heel has to win because of some weakness of the face.
Yeah, they always do that.
So stupid. We had Curtis Axel against The Miz. For the title. I liked it, but the crowd was a little bit deflated. I think the problem was they started the pay-per-view with a really good pre-show match, and then a really good Money in the Bank match, and then they kind of had a series of slower matches, and it's like, you start with such momentum, you got to keep that. You have to keep that going for the crowd. So the crowd really was a little bit kind of like bored, I think, during this match. It was typical, exactly what you would expect.
Also, I don't think they care about the guys in the match.
Right, yeah, I don't really think that they give a shit.
Which also probably something to do with it.
And Axel wins clean, to which people were like, wow, Axel got his first clean win, and then some people were like, well, no, remember, he won against Sin Cara? Like, who cares, though? Like, that was a jobber match. At least this was like a high-caliber match, defending this title that he won last month, and he actually wins clean. So that was a good thing to see. Alright, so then we had the World Heavyweight title match, Dolph Ziggler against Alberto Del Rio. It's a pretty good match. Unlike the match last month, it wasn't just about Del Rio kicking Ziggler in the head 7,000 times. It was actually lots of, their usual technical stuff, hitting their spots. The match ends very oddly, and it's really stupid, and unfortunately, I don't know if this is really... It did ruin the match, because you had this really good high-caliber match, and so what ended up happening was, so Del Rio does kick Ziggler in the head, alright? So Ziggler's, like, stunned on his knees. So Del Rio, he teases, like, he takes his knee thing off, and he teases like he's going to do, like a running knee to the head of Ziggler. Now, what happened during the match was that AJ had come out, and Ziggler was like, no, don't come out here, you're going to distract me. Go to the back, you're going to distract me. And she refused to listen. She was just there for the whole match. So at the end of the match, it looks
women.
Like... Yeah, I know.
So don't listen.
They're so unruly. They never listen, right? So Ziggler is about to get kneed in the face, basically. And AJ is so overcome with emotion that he's going to get hurt. She comes in the ring and hits Del Rio with the fucking title, the Divas title.
Would that even hurt, really? It's not very big. I mean,
it's stupid because
if you go ahead with that belt, would you be hurt?
I can understand what they're going for. Okay, she's trying to protect her man, but doesn't she know that's going to cost him the match? You know what I mean?
She doesn't care. She's worried about his life, Phil. Some things are more important than this worked wrestling match that they're having.
It's so dumb. So this happened. Obviously, Ziggler gets DQ'd. Ziggler's obviously extremely upset. He's like, no, this is my match. I told you to go to the back. Why were you here? Why did you interfere? And of course she can't. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So he basically storms off to the back. All right. So we don't know what's going to happen with this angle now. You know, it continues this week. So we'll talk about it when we get to Raw. Okay. Really dumb. And of course Del Rio. Oh, I win. I'm so good. Stupid.
It's true.
So then they had the WWE Championship match. Yes, if you can believe it, they actually left the Raw Money in the Bank for the last match, which I was surprised at. I thought they would do the Cena match last, but they didn't.
Well, it's what they did last year, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say this, because I'm a huge fan of Mark Henry, okay? I think that if they would let him do more, he would be a better wrestler.
You're going with this. Don't insult Mark Henry, Phil.
I'm not.
He won't come for you.
The match was terrible. The match was
He won't
god-awful.
find you, Phil.
The match was a typical John Cena
He
match.
used to wear the Kool-Aid guy suit. He'll just come right through the wall.
Henry actually does a couple cool spots in this match. At one point, they actually show it as the picture by the legs. Remember how Cesaro did this with The Miz? He keeps swinging Cena repeatedly into the ring wall.
Same thing?
Yeah, the same spot, and that's a cool spot. I believe he actually does a splash from like one of the turnbuckles at one point. Cena continually tries to lift Henry, and he can't do it.
Does the beer bomb?
Yeah, exactly. So he does some good stuff. Henry, I'm a fan of his work. If they would put him with someone who could actually fucking do good stuff with him, he could do good matches. This was a terrible fucking match. Because Cena, it's the typical Cena. Oh, look, I hit you once, now you're stunned. 5-knuckle shuffle. Oh, I dance around the ring like a cartoon character.
It's like the Sim.
And it's like, it was. He puts him in the STF. And his cartoonish grin on his face ruins the match. This is him at the camera. Like, I don't want to see this. This is terrible. This is not wrestling. This is shit. This is cartoon Cena. And of course, just like the story of the match, Cena can't lift him. Cena can't lift him. Oh no! After taking 20 spots, all of a sudden Cena can now lift him. He's got
after Mark worked his back and
Herculean
legs
strength.
For 10 minutes straight.
I don't know. It's the
same
old shit. People are tired of it. People are tired of the Super Cena character. And it's embarrassing for someone like Mark Henry, who's been in the business this long, that he can't have a good match with Cena because Cena is the same character and never evolves. It's disgusting.
Cena can only have good matches with certain people, pretty much.
Yeah, CM Punk. He can have a good match with CM Punk.
You can't carry someone to a match.
It's just terrible.
He's got to have a dancing partner that could do the tango with him.
I'm just tired of it at this point. I can't
never give up tango.
Anything with Cena is just a waste of fucking time. And we're going to talk about Raw, where we're going to see if this summer if he can redeem himself with someone who can actually maybe put him over. We'll see.
That boat has sailed many years ago, Phil.
I don't know. So it's an awful match. The whole program of leading up to this is now completely squandered. And you're like, gee, are they going to do this again? And the answer is no. You'll see on Raw, it's completely dropped now. Mark Henry's basically lost his push, which is terrible. For a guy who looks like he may retire soon, he could have had a chance to have a final run, and they just completely wasted it. All right, and then the final match of the night, the Raw Money in the Bank, outstanding match. I would say it wasn't as good as the SmackDown Money in the Bank, only because these guys are more established. These guys are kind of all into their method. You know what I mean? Randy Orton, he's the slow, calculating guy.
Orton's not going to go like on the top of the cage,
right?
Fall into the floor and like all that. They're not going to do that.
Exactly.
Well, they don't want them doing that either because these are all guys that need to make their money with.
There were some crazy spots at one point. You remember a couple of years ago at Money in the Bank, they had the ladder that they put between the announce table and the ring, and fucking Sheamus powerbomb Sin Cara through it and actually hurt him, broke the ladder, hurt him.
The wooden ladder. You saw the wood chips come out.
They did the spot, but this time Sheamus went through it, but he botched it. He went through legs first. So that's what they were saying, that he fucked his leg up, and that's why he didn't wrestle this week.
Oh, God.
Because he fucked his leg up going through the ladder, the way he did it. Just some really interesting spots here. People, diving off the ladders and everything. Really well done match. Everyone puts in their effort, and I have to say, Christian Poor Christian went face first into a ladder, and it destroyed his front teeth. He actually has both of his front teeth are chipped, and he has to go for a double root canal this week. I don't know if he actually went yet or not. His teeth were so fucked up. But then he wrestled all week. They had him wrestle. They didn't give him any time off.
He just came back. You're probably like, you can't take your time off. You used all your vacation days, Christian. Get the fuck out there.
So a lot of these guys got wrecked in this match, all right? RVD took a ladder to the head, had to get 15 stitches. It was gushing blood during the match. CM Punk, so the story of the match is that CM Punk he may be going for the briefcase, and then Daniel Bryan gets up, and Daniel Bryan's going to, like, fight him. All of a sudden, fucking Curtis Axel comes out and attacks Daniel Bryan. So Punk's like, what the fuck is this? Walks up behind Curtis Axel, go to sleep. Puts him to sleep. He's like, get the fuck out of here. You're not supposed to be in this match. So then he starts to climb the ladder, and Paul Heyman comes out. And he starts yelling at Axel. He's like, what are you doing out here? I didn't authorize you to come out here and interfere. Punk can win this by himself. He doesn't need you interfering. So Punk's climbing the ladder, and when he's just about to get the briefcase, Paul Heyman takes a ladder and throws it against him. So it, like, hits his leg. He's like, oh. He does it repeatedly. He does it 3 times, right? So the 3rd time he does it, Punk is, like, on his knees. And I guess he wasn't expecting Heyman to do it so hard. He turns. Boom! Clobbers it, rips his scalp open.
Fuck.
So he's gushing now. He's gushing blood all over the fucking floor. It's disgusting, man. So the story of the match is, Punk would have won, but Heyman actually destroyed him with this ladder, and that's why Punk loses the match. So then they're teasing
some future storylines.
They're teasing different people are going to go for it, but people just keep getting destroyed, and then finally, it's just Orton. It's hilarious, too, because Orton climbs the ladder. He doesn't grab the briefcase. He's looking around. He's like, there's no one here. He's like, no one can stop me.
Everyone's destroyed.
He's like, oh well, like maybe I shouldn't have won this match, but I guess I win. And then he grabs the briefcase. So Orton now is Money in the Bank, and I have a theory about this. A theory that I have is 2 things. Number 1, they didn't want to give it to someone who already won it before. And there are only 2 guys in this match who never won it before, Orton and Christian. Obviously, Christian right now is not getting much of a push, so they're not going to give it to him. My other theory is that they wanted someone who eventually, when he does cash in, can dance that line between heel and face. Because let's say he cashes it in and he beats Cena, right? Okay, well obviously now people, oh, he can't be a face, so they're going to make him a heel until he decides to flop over again. He's done this before. So I think they wanted to give it to someone who could easily flop back and forth for when he wins the title from Cena and then eventually goes back. That's what I think the reasoning was.
It's surprising, like, with the 2 strikes, that they would give him that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only couple other guys that got 2 strikes, William Regal, remember he was having a huge push? He got one, that was it, he was done.
He was done after that,
he was
you're right.
champion and everything and all that stuff, and he was finished. But Orton, I mean, it seems like he can do pretty much whatever he wants to do.
I don't know.
It's been pretty much his career.
And it's just so odd, it's so peculiar. If you watch our WWE Sims from last week, almost every single match ended in exactly the same way that our Sims did. In our Sims, by complete surprise, Randy Orton won the Money in the Bank the first time we ran it.
Yeah.
And so we were so surprised that we redid it, because we were like, that can't happen,
Well, I think we did it because the match was like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it was short. Remember?
That was the main problem.
If you remember, the second match, Punk won, and in the actual match, Punk was going to win it until Paul Heyman came out and interfered. And then the Cena-Mark Henry match, Cena submits Henry, and that's how it happened in the match. Like, every outcome was almost identical to what happened. It was very odd.
What do you think about that? Did you hear about this guy that's written the results to, like, several shows?
There's some guy, there's a leak in the company.
You think it's a leak, or you think he just kind of figures it out?
No, I think there's a leak.
If you remember last year, and I'm sure everyone at home watching this remembers, I got about 3 pay-per-views. I only got 1 match wrong out of like three entire pay-per-views.
Right, but this guy's never wrong.
He's never wrong at all.
He always pastes the results the day of, and he's never wrong.
It could be a good streak of luck. I don't know.
I don't know.
I did it.
I think he's a dick. He's probably one of these dicks who, like, he's not on the writing team, but maybe he's the assistant to one of the writers.
He's some Mark.
He's some Mark, and he thinks I get to leak the fucking results every pay-per-view. It's like, come on, man. Like, really? Do you need to? Like, that ruins it for everyone.
Yes.
And I do have to say this. Unfortunately, some asshole was in my stream, because what I did...
Some people are saying that it's me, that it's doing.
Oh, it's you!
Someone's accusing
me. How dare you? But,
they wouldn't hire me there, no.
During the pay-per-view, and I want to announce, I will probably be doing this for major pay-per-views this year. During the pay-per-view, I was actually on my stream chat, chatting it up with fans. So we were all, enjoying talking to each other during the pay-per-view and having reactions to everything. Some guy comes in, oh, well, I just read the spoiler results, here they are. I'm like, We're watching the pay-per-view, dickhead. Why
It's
would
like-
you spoil it?
It's a mark that works in the company that's posting it to get off, and then there's other marks that take his
Oh,
shit.
I know
and
who's
go-
going to win. Here, spoil. Orton wins. I'm like, why would you fucking do that?
It's a series of marks.
So I'm just going to say this right now. If anyone does that at future pay-per-views, when I'm in there chatting, if you spoil it, I'm going to permanently block you, and I'm going to publicly make fun of you. Because that's fucked up. Like, people want to enjoy the pay-per-view and not be spoiled. You got to be a dick about it. So don't do that. I know this guy's posting the results. Don't fucking do it. That's fucking stupid, alright?
I think it's feasible that the guy's just getting it right. I don't think it's that tough.
Nah, I think he's an
No?
insider. Because how can
Alright.
you get every match right? You know?
I think it'd be funny if they do an investigation. It turns out to be some 12-year-old kid in like freaking Iowa sitting at his computer, and
he's got the algorithms.
it'll make them look really bad. They gotta hope it's somebody that they inside the company.
Alright,
If it's not, they're
so,
gonna look like real dicks.
so Monday Night Raw this week was white hot off of the pay-per-view because the pay-per-view was so good. Obviously, Raw's good. The crowd, let me tell you something. Brooklyn, New York was the crowd. My God, one of the best crowds
The Barclays.
in like a year. I think this was like the best crowd. They were white hot for they were into every angle. They were supporting everything going on, and I love it when the crowd is so into it because it makes the show. So Brad Maddox comes out. He's the new GM of Raw, by the way.
I know that.
As of last week. And he says he's here to basically serve the people and be the best GM he can be. All right? So it's him and John Cena in the ring, and he basically tells John, listen, John, I'm going to do something that's never been done before. For SummerSlam, I'm going to allow you to pick your opponent. To which John Cena's like, oh, well, that's a dumb move for a GM because I could pick, Hornswoggle or whatever. And he's like, yeah, but I know you won't do that because you're John Cena. So it's announced at the end of the night, John Cena will make his pick of who's going to be his number one contender and his opponent at SummerSlam.
Okay.
A series of good matches.
Why did she get to pick though?
Because he gave him the ability.
Why? Why don't we have matches or some kind of a match or?
He's just giving him the ability to pick.
Why?
I don't know. First match of the night: Randy Orton versus
It's
Fandango.
really stupid.
It's actually a really good match. This is
Yeah.
I'd say, one of Fandango's best matches. He looks good.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
hitting
He
spots.
doesn't really have quite the history here. I mean,
True, he's only been around for a while, but a pretty good match. Orton, of course, he's hot, being the Money in the Bank winner, so you knew that Fandango wasn't going to win the match, but still, it was a pretty good match between the two, and I think Fandango, with a little bit more work, a little bit more refinement, he can be pretty good. I love it now. He's such an asshole. I love it when he does his little two-step, like, during the match. He looks so cocky and stupid.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
like
it really makes the character.
At the end when Cena was talking about who he might pick.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
talking about Fandango just doesn't. He just
Fandango,
he does some bullshit
yes.
with his hands.
Yes, he starts dancing. It's so stupid, but it's good. It's funny,
Yeah.
and the crowd loves it too. Like the crowd was like doing the do
Yeah.
you know, when he came out and everything. So Randy Orton wins the match. Mark Henry comes out in a suit, and he says, "Listen, John Cena was the better man last night." So immediately you know Henry's going face when he says that, because if he says that, you can credit to Cena. You know he's going face. John Cena was the better man last night. I hope that maybe he'll consider me to be his opponent at SummerSlam. The Shield comes out of nowhere and basically attacks him and beats the crap out of him. All right? So the Shield now apparently are going to be attacking Mark Henry, and Mark Henry's going face. I don't know.
I don't like Mark Henry now.
So they attack Mark Henry, and
How come the Shield doesn't care about Ryback anymore? They used to
they
hate
gave up on
Ryback.
him. Because he's a heel now, so they gave up
We
on
turned
him.
him evil, so now we like him.
So I guess something that Mark Henry said was very unjust. Maybe the compliment to Cena, or the fact that he wanted to rematch at SummerSlam.
I go with that.
So they come out, they attack him,
I'll tell you compliment this
and
guy.
they triple powerbomb him, which is pretty nuts that they were able to do that, but
Yeah.
they did it, and they did it convincingly. I was like, poor Mark is probably destroyed after that, but they did it. So it was a pretty good angle to turn Mark face. Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler have a rematch. All right, so this is what I mean. This is why Raw was so good. Like, it was like pay-per-view quality matches, and the match is great. All right, the match is really good, and I'm trying to remember. Oh, that's right. So backstage before the match, I need to announce this because it's a critical part of the angle. Before the match, AJ runs up to Dolph, and she's like, Dolph, I'm so sorry about last night that I cost you the title, and you haven't been talking to me or returning my calls or anything. Can you please let me know that everything's okay?
Can't do that, man. You got the girlfriend, you get the relationship going, you gotta turn the calls.
And he basically turns to her and he goes, "It's okay, it's over." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so relieved to say that." He says, "No, it's over. I'm breaking up with you. Goodbye." And he just storms away. So she's like flipping out, right? So then during his
What
match,
you're supposed to do is how you have sex with one last time. And then immediately following that,
what?
this is advice for all of you out there.
What the hell?
One last time, and then you go, okay, it's over afterward.
After the sex.
Immediately after, yeah.
Are you,
final session.
do you wait till you get your clothes back on? No, it's as soon as it's over. All right, we're breaking up. What the hell? Wow. Don't listen to John's advice, everyone. Don't listen. That's bad. If you're naked, you're vulnerable.
Dolph,
that's a bad time.
Come on, Dolph. You should have known this.
Women have nails, okay?
You
don't want to do that when you're naked.
You get your clothes on first.
Oh, my God. All right, so during the match, they're having this great match. Again, Alberto and Dolph. During the match, all of a sudden, the ring bell rings.
Yes.
Like, what the hell? And they cut over to the ring bell. It's AJ, right? So the ref's like, no, that's not valid. No, keep wrestling. And then, of course, Alberto Del Rio takes advantage, wins the match. So now Dolph's like, what the fuck? So AJ hits the ring, and she's like flipping out on Dolph. And all of a sudden, Dolph turns around. Big E Langston hits him. And then Big E Langston does his finish or whatever it is, the big finish.
Yeah, the big botch.
Yeah, whatever the hell it is.
Move.
So now basically Big E Langston and AJ are teamed up, but they're like anti-Ziggler.
They should really go all out with this thing, and she should be like, I was cheating on you with Big E the whole time anyway. And she's making fun of his manhood and everything. And just really get into it.
Well, we don't know where it's going to go.
But is Big E and Ziggler going to go off together, and then in Del Rio, is he going to fight someone else?
Right, we don't know. So we'll talk more about this on SmackDown because this angle actually continues on SmackDown. R-Truth comes out. This is so funny. Now, we haven't seen R-Truth in a long time. Every once in a while, he's on TV, but he's not on often. And when he is, they never give him his full intro anymore. So when he starts coming out, oh, what's up? What's this? Doing his dance? You know something's going to go wrong. You know there's a reason for this, right? So he's doing his stupid dance or whatever, and he's singing, and all of a sudden the lights go out. And then they start playing the promo. It's the Wyatt family. So the Wyatt family come out just like they did last week with Kane, all right? And it's pretty much the same exact thing. The two guys beat the shit out of them.
They chant for Husky Harris?
No, they didn't. And because this is a Brooklyn crowd, they're not dicks. They're actually into the stuff.
Little upper class.
The crowd is insanely hot for the Wyatt family right now. Like, they love the angle, okay? So basically, they come out, and they beat the shit out of R-Truth. R-Truth's outside the ring, and then Bray Wyatt goes into his angle, and he's like, there's no such thing as a hero. You guys believe in Superman and all this, and it's not real. What does he say? God, he says this angle. He says this line. I can't remember what it was. It was so good. It's something that I remember that was said in my childhood. I can't remember what the fuck it was.
Why so serious?
I'm trying to remember if they say it here. No, they
don't.
Oh, that's right. He calls himself the Eater of Worlds, like Galactus.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what the hell? What a Mark fucking move for Marvel Comics to say that. I am the Eater of Worlds, and I will destroy your reality. I will show you the truth and all. Yeah. And then it's funny because then R-Truth gets back in the ring with a steel chair, and he turns to him and he goes, "We don't need your kind of truth." And then they beat the shit out of him again. They completely destroy him again. So it's like they beat him up twice. So it's a pretty good angle.
It's a throwback. That's like old school stuff, like when Undertaker came in and he would, approach certain people, like the Jake the Snake and other guys like that.
And then at the end of the angle, he says, "Kane, follow the buzzards." So he's like talking to Kane. So the rumors now, or what everyone thinks is going to happen, Kane's going to come back like brainwashed by the Wyatts.
Yeah, you can change Kane's character yet again.
Right, and he'll be one of the Wyatt family.
He'll be badass Kane again. He'll find the Wilder's mask and start wearing it to the ring.
Yes.
And then he'll eventually turn on them, and
probably
someone will try to be Daniel Bryan or something. Will try to turn him back.
Right.
All that stuff.
The Usos have a single or a tag team match with the Real Americans. That's what they're calling them now, the Real Americans.
We are the Real Americans.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be great if Hogan joined them. But so the Usos beat them. So the Usos are still kind of hot, and it almost looks like the Usos may wrestle the Shield again, like they're trying to bump them up again.
WWE's got a real problem with these cult-like people coming into their company. They should really figure this out. You got the Wyatt showing up. You got the Real Americans.
The Shield.
The Shield.
They just come do whatever they want.
It's like a bunch of religious cults.
It is. It's a bunch of cults.
It's a religious cult show.
It's true.
They fight each other.
That's true.
What's happening?
True. Christian has a singles match with Damian Sandow and beats him clean. So Christian, with like destroyed front teeth, wrestles Damian Sandow, the guy who just won Money in the Bank, and beats him clean.
I mean, that was Christian's like present for killing himself in the match.
I don't know.
Well, you get to beat him now.
So he beats him clean. Then after the match, Cody Rhodes hits the ring and beats the shit out of Sandow. Basically attacks him after the match because he's pissed that he betrayed him at Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Okay? This will continue on SmackDown.
I guess you could make the argument like they're hurting him and everything, but it's only for the world title anyway, so it's not like that title really matters in the first place, so whatever.
Naomi defeats Brie Bella, and they advertise the new Total Divas show that's going to be on TV in 2 weeks.
We just watched the ad for that.
It looks terrible.
I clicked on it by accident. We watched it together.
No, you clicked on it on purpose.
It looks pretty crazy. Like they're having sex. They're like bed with each people and
they're in bed with dudes
and like making out and
slapping each other.
And you tell it's a work because the bells are being like extra like catty and everything. Did you hear what she said to me and all that kind of
show's
stuff?
terrible.
So you can tell it's...
The show's not even on yet, and I can tell you it's terrible. There's no reason to watch it. Just like everything on the E! Network, it's fucking garbage, so don't bother watching it.
I don't even know what's on there.
Shit. All shit.
I don't know what channel it is.
Paul Heyman confronts CM Punk. Punk basically wants to know what happened. Why did Heyman betray him? He wants an answer. Heyman comes out, basically says, listen, when you lost to The Undertaker at WrestleMania, you let me down. That was your chance to show that you really were the best in the world. And you didn't, and then you just disappeared afterwards. It makes it even worse that you took time off afterwards.
Where did you go?
So, basically, you made me look bad. I don't have faith in you anymore, and I know for a fact that you can't beat Brock Lesnar. And when he says that, Lesnar comes out, attacks Punk, and you saw the clip. Very brutal beatdown by Lesnar, basically throwing his body all over the place, throws him over the announce table, F5s him on the announce table. So basically completely destroys CM Punk, who, by the way, has 15 stitches in his freaking head, or staples or whatever. So I don't know why they let Lesnar beat the shit out of him like that, but
That's all Lesnar knows. You can't tell him to be like...
Be gentle
go
with
out there and go light on him like you wouldn't know what to do. That's what he has to do. He throws you over stuff and
it's crazy, man.
He botches shit. That's what Lesnar does.
It was pretty brutal. So that's obviously it's leading up. They're probably gonna have a program, Lesnar and CM Punk at SummerSlam. We got a full month to find out, so I guess we'll see.
Yes.
Okay, so next, Rob Van Dam versus Chris Jericho in probably one of the best matches in recent history, if not the best match of this year so far. A wrestling clinic these two guys put on. Seriously.
Well, they used to have really good matches 10 years ago.
It's like every spot that they do. Rob Van Dam does the best Rolling Thunder I've probably seen in like 5 years. Lands it perfectly on Jericho, squishes the
You didn't
poor
like that
guy.
one they did to Robbie E a couple years ago?
The thing is, he did one at Money in the Bank, and he kind of botched it. He missed, so they changed the camera angle so you couldn't see.
Every time I've been watching him since like 1996, and every time he's ever done that, like when he's upside down, I always kind of go, because I'm always afraid he's gonna like land wrong.
He landed perfectly on Jericho, but I felt bad because it lands right on his chest, his sternum, and Jericho probably had the wind squished out of him. But it was really good. Both these guys, Jericho, Code Breakers, Lion Salts. He does his walls of Jericho. The match ends where Rob Van Dam reverses something Jericho's doing and finally gets a 5-star frog splash. Perfect frog splash, by the way. And just an amazing match and a great return for Rob Van Dam. He looks exactly the same. This guy never ages. And it's funny because that's
the stuff he puts in his body.
That's what JBL says. He goes, this man is ageless. I'm like, yeah, he looks he never ages. The guy, he hasn't gained weight. He doesn't look old.
He's a poster boy for legalizing
marijuana. Seriously. I don't know, man. Like, he's fucking great. He's still doing good. And, all power to him. I can't wait to see him in more matches.
Absolutely.
All right, so then the main event overall, Cena just comes out to announce who's going to be his opponent at SummerSlam.
And I saw RVD when he came out for Money in the Bank in Philadelphia, which is the home of ECW. The crowd went crazy. He did a little Sabu tribute for about 2 seconds. He did the point up. So that was nice.
So,
people like me.
Right. So, who's Cena going to pick? And he teases because all the Raw roster come out onto the ramp, okay, the stage. Is it going to be Heath Slater? Is it going to be Ryback? Is it going to be this? So he teases a bunch of people, like you said, Fandango, and Fandango does, ooh,
no, it was like one arm.
It's like, Fandango.
Like his face, he didn't move any part of his body, he just stood still.
That's too good. So, the whole time, of course, the crowd is so hot for Daniel Bryan. He's been white hot these past few weeks. We're actually surprised he didn't win at Money in the Bank. They're going, yes, 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 yes. So finally he announces Daniel Bryan. The crowd goes insane. They're like, yes, the whole crowd's on their feet. Yes, yes, Daniel Bryan's coming out. He's doing it. Everyone, the whole Daniel
Bryan did it right to see his face.
Right in his face, yeah.
And it was like the floodgates were allowed to be opened for the first time
in years.
So
right.
It's like the WWE's been holding back this like flood of popularity for Daniel Bryan.
You know what it is?
Do whatever
Ever
they
since
could
he
do.
won the title, remember when he won the World Heavyweight Championship? He was white hot. And then they squashed it by making him go out with AJ. They turn him heel. He starts doing no. It was really stupid.
Well, he really won the fans over when he lost in 18 seconds. Because then it became, you know what, this guy's getting screwed over.
Right.
That's our guy now.
Right.
And then they did whatever they could to hold back the flood and he kept saying no. Oh, the fans are saying yes to mock him. That's the only reason they're doing it. They don't really like him.
Right.
Putting him in stupid storylines, blah blah blah. And this is for the first time. They could have had this 2 years ago.
Yeah, they could have. They could have.
Now they're going, okay, you know what?
Now is his time.
Daniel Bryan, you won.
You may have your time.
You're allowed to be cheered by the fans. As strange as it sounds.
Of course, though. Now the problem is what's going to happen. Is he going to become the next Zack Ryder? And that's what I think is the symptom here.
No, he's going to be They'll never. Zack Ryder was historic. That I don't. If in order for someone to do that or beat that again, will be amazing because that was a historic collapse that they orchestrated and dealt to him. But hopefully that never happens again to anyone.
I could just see Daniel Bryan has like a 2-month push, and then all of a sudden Kane comes back brainwashed, and it destroys him, and he's out.
No, like you said, it could be Kane comes out at SummerSlam, destroys him,
and then he's gone,
and then
that's the end of his
he's
angle.
fighting Kane, or he's trying to rehabilitate Kane for the next 2 years.
Exactly, which is going to be a shit angle.
That's probably what it's going to be.
No. All right.
And you don't have to go on Reddit to find that shit out.
SmackDown this week.
You just spoiled the SummerSlam.
SmackDown this week was pretty crazy, all right, because some things happened I don't think anyone expected. So, basically, Teddy Long comes out, and he says he's going to announce a series of matches, but then all of a sudden, he says there's going to be a job evaluation tonight. Vince McMahon's going to come and evaluate him, just like he evaluated Vicky the week before. So, all of a sudden, Booker T comes out, and he's like, I'm back from my injury, I'm back to be the GM. Then all of a sudden, Vince McMahon comes out. And he goes, well, after the end of tonight, I don't know if either of you are going to be the GM. Then all of a sudden, Brad Maddox comes out.
Why are we still doing these GM storylines? We're fighting over who's the GM and all this stuff.
I don't know. So Brad Maddox comes out. Brad says, well, I did such a good job on Raw, you should make me the GM of SmackDown too. So then they start asking, all right, what matches would you make tonight if you were the permanent GM? And Teddy Long says, well, I would do Curtis Axel against Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental title since Jericho keeps seeming to get one up on him. All right. Then he asked Booker T, what match would you do? He says, well, I would do, let's see here, Alberto Del Rio against Randy Orton, because those are both guys that won at Money in the Bank, right? And then he asked Brad Maddox, and I think it was just something real dumb that he said, something really stupid.
Hornswoggle versus Lily Garcia.
No, I remember. He says, I'm going to bring RVD back to SmackDown for the first time in 8 years. He's going to have a match tonight, all right? So it's like, well, what the match is it going to be good?
Was it really that long?
8 years, yeah.
Holy crap!
He hasn't been on SmackDown in 8 years. When he was on last time, he was on Raw.
The hell has I been doing?
Yeah. So, what happens? All of a sudden, Vince says, all right, well, based off of all of what you just said, by the way, those matches will happen tonight. However, the new GM is Vicky Guerrero. Everyone's like, oh, no. So Vicky comes out. She slaps Brad Maddox in the face.
John Laurinaitis to get to say his part.
I don't know.
His opinion.
She's the new full-time GM of SmackDown now. All right.
And by the way, I also want to bring up, I knew that Hornswoggle was the anonymous GM, and I don't have inside sources.
John,
you hear about the shit that I came up with that they did. You go through the 102 episodes of this program.
It was terrible. All right. So Dolph Ziggler has a singles match with Jack Swagger. This was an odd match because these guys used to be a tag team, if you remember, about 2 years ago. They were teamed up. It's a pretty good match. Dolph ends up winning with the zigzag. So it's a pretty clean win. He goes clean over him, which I don't think anyone really, expected anything else. Then, basically, Dolph Ziggler grabs the mic, right? And he goes, so as you know, I broke up with AJ on SmackDown. All I want to say to everyone is, I'm sorry. And he looks like he's going to cry. And he goes, sorry that I didn't break up with her sooner. Everyone's like, what? So they cut to AJ in the back. She goes nuts. She's throwing chairs. She's like destroying walls and shit. So then Big E walks up and hugs her. And then it looks like he's going to kiss her.
Yeah, so I'm telling you.
But then he doesn't. He kisses her on the forehead and he walks away. So it's very odd. A very odd angle that they're doing here with this AJ angle. Alright? The Usos have a tag team championship match with Rollins and Reigns. But it goes to a no contest because Dean Ambrose gets involved. So now they're beating down the Usos, and Mark Henry comes out and makes the save, which is pretty crazy. So
I smell a 6-man.
Yeah, you know it's coming. You know
with the very likely and a team that makes perfect sense, the Usos and Mark Henry, a team that was made in heaven and fits perfectly together.
Yes,
absolutely,
the world's strongest Samoans. Daniel Bryan has a singles match against Wade Barrett. He put him into the Yes Lock. It was a pretty quick match, too. Put him into the Yes Lock. So he's white hot. He beats Wade Barrett clean. Vicky Guerrero basically throws Brad Maddox and Teddy Long off of her show. Says, "Get the hell out of here!" Security escorts them off the show. Big deal.
Last time RVD was there 8 years ago. Guess what they were probably doing on the show? I don't remember what it was. Probably a GM storyline was going on at the time. Most likely.
They have a segment, Miz TV. It's one of the worst segments I've ever seen because it's a complete waste of time. Basically, Miz wants to know why Heyman had Brock Lesnar attack CM Punk. But basically, he says, "Well, I would ask you, but I know you're just gonna lie to me anyway. I mean, you lied. You swore on your family you wouldn't lie, and you did anyway. You've done all this dastardly stuff. Therefore, I don't care." And he leaves. Like, he walks out of the ring as like a silent protest to Heyman. Then they have a match, Curtis Axel against Chris Jericho, and after Axel having the clean win on the pay-per-view, what do they do to put him over? They have him cheat, of course. So Heyman basically distracts Jericho during the match, which lets Axel pin him, which is really lame, but he gets him. Whatever. Then after the match, alright, Ryback comes out. And Ryback attacks Jericho after the match. Jericho tries to fight back, but no, Ryback hits him with the shell shock. So again, I guess this angle's continuing for whatever reason.
Why does Ryback care? Ryback beat him.
I don't know.
He wants to keep beating him?
I don't know.
Is he trying to kill him? I mean,
they're continuing this angle. I don't know why.
What does he want to do to him?
Huh. So Damian Sandow comes out, and he says, "I forgive Cody Rhodes for attacking me on Monday. I understand the emotions are running high. I want him to come out tonight, and let's talk man-to-man, because I have something to say to him." So he comes out. He goes, "I forgive you. In fact, I'm going to offer you the prestigious role of protector of the Money in the Bank case." So Cody says, "Why, thank you very much," takes the case, smashes him in the head with it, and beats the crap out of Sandow. So apparently they're going to have a program now, these two.
Fight over the case.
They'll fight over the case. Cody's the face. I don't know, it doesn't seem to me like Damian Sandow's over at all. Like,
it's good
you know
for Cody, though.
They're giving Cody a push.
I think what it did, though, like, he's not over, but what it did is it took two guys and gave them something to do for a couple months.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what they did. And that's what you got to do. You have these guys, you have them on the show, they have to be doing something. What's Cody done in the last 2 years? What's one thing he's done? He fought tons of Funk a few times, and
right.
So now he's actually in a storyline. So it was good.
This is weird. The results are screwed up here. They didn't finish writing the result for the main event. That's weird. But anyway, Rob Van Dam has his match against Darren Young. So that's why I was like, of all the matches, okay, RVD returns. That's great, but
this is why he came back for matches like that.
Yeah, to wrestle Darren Young. It's a fast match. Yeah. I mean, RVD looks really good, and he hits the 5-star frog splash, but I don't know what the point of the match was.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for him, so...
Right.
I mean, that was the break match, I guess.
Right. They finally give him a break.
Right.
And the main event was Randy Orton against Alberto Del Rio. Orton goes over clean with an RKO. What it says here, it says, he did not walk away unscathed, and I don't know what that means. He was injured.
Oh, yeah. He's okay, though.
He is?
Yeah.
He was injured during his match against Alberto Del Rio. According to WWE medical personnel, the 9-time world champion suffered a cervical strain and cervical neuropraxia. Orton tweeted to let the WWE universe know he's fine. Huh.
Yeah, he's okay. I read about this. He's all right.
All right,
he was tweeting about it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so Orton's okay. I didn't know about that. That's why I didn't know what the hell that meant.
Okay.
So that was it for WWE. It's a crazy, busy week. You had the return of RVD. You got the two guys now who are established with the Money in the Bank briefcases. You got Mark Henry going face. You've got white-hot Daniel Bryan, who's going to be in the main event at SummerSlam.
Cody going face.
You got Cody going face for the first time, which is going to be good, I think. You've got...
Cody's got a mustache.
You got CM Punk against Brock being set up. So you got a lot of interesting stuff going on right now.
You got GM drama, which is everyone's favorite.
You got AJ about to make out with Biggie Langston. That was the huge news of the week, actually. That overshadowed everything else.
Dolph having sex with AJ, immediately dumping her. That's what happened on the app if you watched it.
Oh, that was between the commercials. They had sex in the back and then he dumped her. Oh.
Yeah, he didn't show that. It was on the app.
Come on, man.
You got to download that app.
All right, so... now we're going to talk about TNA, and I know we're already going real long here on the show, but we got to talk about TNA, Destination X, man. Destination X this week.
Yeah, it was fun.
What'd you think?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. You know, I liked they did several X Division matches. They brought guys back like Homicide, Sanjay Dutt.
Yes.
Trent Beretta came in. He debuted.
Yeah, what's his name now? So is his real
This is
name?
really Greg Marachulo.
Marachulo, and he's
Yes.
got a Bill Murray knee pad.
A Bill Murray
Did you
knee
see
pad.
that? It was funny as hell.
Yeah, he's great. He for the last couple months, I don't know. I never saw him in WWE. I don't. Was he even on? I think he might have been on a few times. I never
Trent
saw him.
Barreto? Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually got a push.
I never saw him.
He was only on SmackDown.
Yeah.
He had a push for like a month, and then they dropped him.
Yeah, he for the last couple months he's been in Japan and on the Indies. He's having great matches. He's a great worker. But so he's in there now. I don't really like the three-way matches for the X Division. I've talked about that in the past.
Right.
Like if they had him and Rubix, who's Jigsaw, he knows Jigsaw in Chikara. If it was like him, Trip Ritter versus Jigsaw 1-on-1, that'd been awesome. But then you make it a three-way match,
Right.
And then it's like, it's not. They're not. You can't get the drama. You can't get the
Rockstar Spud.
Yeah, you don't need him in there.
So Greg went over. So he's in the triple threat
Marachulo.
for the X Division title.
Manic went in there.
Manic beat Chavo Guerrero and Kenny King in a
Yes.
triple threat match, so he's in the title picture.
Right, and then it was Homicide.
Petey Williams and
Petey
Sanjay
Williams
Dutt.
and Sanjay won.
And that was good.
Yeah.
Although I'm kind of angry because the crowd didn't care, and I was like, Sanjay's a good worker. I've seen him for several years. He's the old school.
He disappears
TNA.
for long periods of time.
I don't know why they can't get behind him.
He's not going to look. He's also in the Ring of Honor Championship tournament, so I don't think he's going to be winning the X Division title.
So Sanjay Dutt, Manic, and Greg Marisculo
Yes.
are going to be for the X Division title. Did they announce when that's going to be?
That's next week.
It is.
Yes.
Oh wow.
That's
Okay.
on Thursday.
That's pretty good.
So those matches were fun. I like Homicide. I like Homicide a lot. It's good
Right.
to see him.
Right.
They had a little segment with him and Hernandez, and then Chavo sneaks in. He's trying to turn heel a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And it was a Bully promo on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad because Bully's so good. I think he's probably the best character in wrestling right now. I said that last week. He's the best on the mic. He's got an old school presence about him that just doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But the problem is he's saddled with the Hogan stuff and the Brooke Hogan stuff. So it's like every time
Still doing it.
Yeah, it's still going on.
Still
She
going
came
on.
out and she's terrible acting, and then Hogan comes out, and it bogs it down quite a bit. They had the Aces and Eights and the main event Mafia altercations.
Yep.
Which anytime they do,
They so stupid. They drive me with Kurt Angle in the back of the truck.
And
how did he get back? He's back.
No,
how did he get back?
They tricked him. They had was it Wes Briscoe?
Yeah.
He was in the hallway. He's like, here I am, and all the main event Mafia chase him into a room. They lock the door, and I guess he gets beat up because they say later on he took one for the team.
Yeah.
So they just beat the shit out of him. Meanwhile, Kurt Angle gets pulled aside. He gets thrown to a wall, thrown in the back of a pickup truck, and they drive away with him. 5 minutes later,
He's back.
he's driving the truck,
Yeah,
and
he's
he
back.
goes back. So it was like some kind of Die
What
Hard.
did he do? How did he do it?
It was like Die Hard.
He crashed through the back window and choked the guy out.
Yeah. He punched the window in. You can only imagine. And you know they wanted to film this. They just couldn't do it. Like someone said, we should do this and film it, but
Oh
they didn't have the budget or something.
Yeah.
You know that happened. So apparently, he punched the window out, choked him, threw the body out, and then just drove.
Tossed him in the street.
And we don't know who drove the car.
Into the highway.
That's the thing. You don't know who was driving the car. I don't know.
Oh man.
It's okay. That stuff was maybe 4 minutes total.
Oh,
so
it was silly.
But anytime they do the Aces and Eights stuff in the back, it's insane.
So he's back, and then there was one other singles match before the title match: Austin Aries and Bobby Roode.
Oh, that was awesome.
And it was the rematch from last year's match where Austin Aries won the world title. It was a really well done match, and Aries went over yet again.
And then Roode went insane. He destroyed ringside.
Because he's pissed he hasn't won any matches in the
There were some
Bronx
really
Series.
good Saban promos.
Oh
throughout the
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Building him up, showing the stuff he's been through, how long he's been there. And he basically had one ACL tear on one leg, came back, had the other one go.
The other one's fucked
and then
up, man.
Yeah, he was missed almost 2 years. And then there was an awesome interaction with him and Austin Aries.
Yeah.
Where Aries put him over, and he goes, "I made you this way because I pushed you to a new level because Saban beat him 2 weeks ago." So. That was fun stuff, and then we had the main event, which was fun. It wasn't a great match, but it was definitely a lot of drama to it. It was interesting. You had the Aces and Eights come out, you had the main event Mafia come out. Rampage was there. Rampage actually did things. He punched people. He did stuff.
Yeah.
I hear he's actually training. He's gonna actually wrestle. So, I like how he's the main event Mafia's all dudes in suits, and then he wears his stuff.
Whatever he wants. Yeah.
I don't mind him. It's the thing with him.
He's like the enforcer,
And they don't make the whole thing about him.
Right.
He's just part of it. And in the past, when they've brought guys in like that, they're constantly showing them, constantly talking about them.
Right.
They're on the mic. And WWE does it too a lot of times when they bring in these people.
Snooki.
He kind of fits in. He kind of fits into it smoothly without being like, oh, look, Rampage is there. Do you see Rampage? Look at Rampage, you know.
Right.
So that was cool.
It's done well.
Basically, at the end of the match, there's a ref bump, and then Devon throws a hammer in the ring. I don't like the hammer with the Aces and Eights.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. You hit with a hammer.
Hammer.
You're basically dead. I mean, it's really stupid.
Concussion.
They've done this several times. So Devon throws in the hammer, then it's an all-out brawl between the Main Event Mafia and the Aces and Eights. Bully and Sabin are fighting. Bully picks him up for the Bully bomb, but Sabin has the hammer. He got the hammer. Hits him in the head with it, comes down and gets the pin on him. So, and that was an awesome moment. It was a feel-good moment. Guy that's been there for a long time.
Well, I've seen differing opinions on this. Okay, some people are very disappointed because unlike last year where Aries went clean over Rude, this was like a stupid, hammer fest with interference and everything, and people were saying we would have liked to see Sabin. If you're going to use this storyline of he's overcoming the odds, he's come back from 2 ACL tears, he needs to win the match legitimately, and he really didn't. He cheated to win.
He didn't cheat because they were trying to cheat him, and he just used what they... I would say he cheated.
I understand. I completely understand what you're saying, but I do see that. Like, why couldn't he win clean? Why couldn't he... Okay, he throws the hammer away, reverses the move, does his finisher on Bully.
That's not how they do it. It's the same with WWE. It's just not how they're going to do the stuff.
So...
It's just how it is.
So we got a new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, which is cool.
Yeah, it definitely throws a wrench in what everyone thought was a predictable storyline of AJ Styles winning the series and then him fighting Bully at Bound for Glory. So now you don't know what's going to happen. That could still happen if Bully's.
Now, did you see the promo, the AJ promo during the show? That was well done.
I like that promo. Yeah,
because he's like, I'm all about the X Division. I'm gonna come back.
That promo was great. That was like a Raven promo almost.
Yeah, it was kind of.
And
like
then
a
he
Raven
goes,
promo.
And then he's talking about Jeff Hardy because he's fighting Jeff Hardy next week.
Right.
It was all Jeff Hardy. He's a hero to the people. A hero. That doesn't get you anywhere. Something like that.
Yeah.
What does that mean, a hero? It's fun stuff, man. I really like the AJ right now.
I'm almost thinking it might build to an AJ Sabin kind of program, which would actually be pretty good.
I think they realize the Aces and Eights thing is stale.
To run its course.
So they need to mix it up a little bit, even if Bully gets it back. It mixes it up a little bit more than just having them hold it for the full duration of the series.
Right.
Now you don't know what the hell's going to happen. Magnus has a huge lead in the series.
Yeah, it's massive.
He's like a 25-point lead. Joe's in second. AJ's probably 0 points. So I don't know. You have no idea where it's going to go. I'm really enjoying this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's really good right now. I think both WWE and TNA are doing real good right now, and that's a great thing because I'm excited all week. It used to be like this. I'd say, shit, man, you got Raw on Monday, we got Main Event on Wednesday, we got TNA on Thursday, we got SmackDown on Friday. I gotta watch wrestling all this week so that we can do Smark Guys, and I know it's gonna suck. Now it's like, excellent, wrestling every day. Give me wrestling every day because they're doing good jobs with it, and the plot lines are interesting. It's really when you get into a rut, it could be like a real bad thing, a real boring, it's like work to watch it. But when you get into an exciting time like now, the lead up to SummerSlam and what they're doing at TNA, I'm excited and I can't wait for the wrestling to come back on TV, basically. I can't wait for Monday.
That's right.
So there you go. There you have it. All right, everyone. Well, of course, that being said, now we're taking a hiatus.
Are we?
Because next week, Panda Lee will be visiting me, my girlfriend, so... We're not going to be doing a show next week. I don't know if you have any plans to do a fill-in show.
I did not make any plans yet. I don't know exactly what's going on. I'm like under the water at this point. And, I have so much going on.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'll let you know.
Okay. So, possibility of a fill-in show with John next week.
Yeah, stay tuned.
But there will not be Smart Guys next week. Okay? Just to make that clear for everyone. But we should be returning in 2 weeks. With obviously recapping everything that's been going on. I guess this is actually kind of a good time to have the bye week because all the pay-per-view events just happened, you know what I mean? So we got to talk about all of them. And we'll be returning in 2 weeks to talk all about what's been going on with WWE leading into SummerSlam, what TNA's doing with the Chris Sabin angle and the Bound for Glory series. And it's an exciting time. We got the X Division Championship next week. So should be pretty good. And I hope that you'll join us in 2 weeks when we return here for Smart Guys. So... thanks a lot, everyone, for tuning in. That's going to be it for this